And there are plenty of other questions still unanswered about the Boyd shooting and other controversial APD shootings. Today, News 13 special assignment producer Jeff Proctor asked Chief Gordon Eden about the questions that a lot of you want answered.
We've heard for quite some time now that Detective Sandy had his on-body camera rolling during various parts of this particular incident, and that sometime, maybe even moments just before the shooting itself, that he turned that camera off. Is that true?
I do not know if that's true or false. All I can tell you is that that is part of the investigation.
Is there any lapel camera footage from Keith Sandy from that shooting?
All I can tell you is that is part of that ongoing investigation, and it will also become part of our internal administrative investigation.
Chief, yes or no question, should Keith Sandy be employed by the Albuquerque Police Department?
If I answer that question right now, that means that my mind is already made out. That would violate the entire due process right of an employee.
We asked the chief why there are so few video recordings from shooting officers over the past few years. That seems to suggest a concerted effort among Albuquerque police officers to not turn their cameras on. What do you think that says to the public?
I think you have to look at all of the shootings in the totality, including many of the ones where we've had 9 videos, and none of them capture the shooting itself. We do have video footage of the vast majority of our shootings. But here's the important thing to remember. We will continue to enforce the policy as it pertains to officers recording the incidents.
What the chief just said is misleading. Since Boyd was killed in March, there have been 5 more deadly APD shootings. APD has told us that not one of the officers in those cases had his camera on at the time he pulled the trigger. But from each of those shootings, there's plenty of video of the aftermath, usually from other officers. It's been the same story with most use of force cases since 2012. That's when all officers were required to turn on their cameras every time they're at a scene. Have you disciplined officers for not recording these kinds of critical incidents?
Yes, I have.
What does that discipline include?
The discipline goes with the chart of sanctions, and it goes from a letter of reprimand all the way up to a suspension.
Have you suspended police officers for not turning their lapel cameras on?
I have not yet.
On special assignment, Jeff Proctor, KRQE News 13.
Keith Sandy is still on paid suspension, and the FBI is still investigating that shooting to see if he should face federal charges. And today, the DA said she received APD's report on the shooting. She will decide if there should be state charges. Of course, she has never charged an APD officer for a shooting.